Yes. What's going on, my people? Internet is struggling today, by the looks of it. So hopefully this goes as good as it can possibly go. Things happen. There's a little and it keeps cutting out. Internet, don't mess up my consistency. I have to go live at another time otherwise. Which don't mind. But the quality is incredibly poor. Let's hope this gets a little bit better. Listen to some tunes in the meantime if they play. Okay, I think it's better. So what is good? What's going on this evening, this afternoon, good morning, wherever you are? Right, the Wednesday. It's another Wednesday, another day, another dollar. How has your Wednesday been? What's been happening? What's been going on? What's new? What's old? What's good? Today, I'm talking about one of my all-time favorite topics. So I think I'm going to enjoy this, and I hope you get some value from it too. September is fast approaching, and I went out today without a jacket on, which I did, because the weather report said that it was going to be something like between 16 and 20 degrees or something, a high of 21. And I listened to it, and I was cold. And you know when autumn is coming, you can smell that crispy, fresh northern air that comes down from wherever it comes down when the earth tilts. And I was like, yep, it's that time of year again. So get your final barbecues in, you know, get your final or your last, I don't know, meetups in the sun, park, bike rides, get them all in. Get in your Last of the Summer Wine. Did anyone used to watch that show? It's a British show, Last of the Summer Wine. Did anyone watch that? All right, guys, you know what time it is. Got the tunes, got my tea. Let's get into it. As usual, when the tea ends, the live will end. So we're talking about entrepreneurship. Why am I talking about entrepreneurship today? I think I've been holding out. I'm not talking about entrepreneurship for no real reason. It's just that I just wanted to be consistent on this live more than anything else. And I'm really, really proud of myself. And that's something that I'm grateful for. And that's something that I'm really, really proud of, that I've stuck it out. You know, I've continued. I've continued. So I'm looking at my background, right? And over here, this little white box, it's a dehumidifier. And it's amazing when you put these things on. You put on these humidifiers, and the amount of moisture that they suck from the air in the room that it's in, it's unbelievable. It's like, where is it coming from? Where's all this coming from? And it makes me think that we shouldn't call our planet Earth. We should call it planet water, because it's mostly water, and there's water everywhere. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, entrepreneurship. You know what? What does entrepreneur actually mean? Like, it's a French word, but what does it actually mean? Let's look that up, because I don't think I've looked up the meaning for a long time. And I don't want to lead you astray. All right, let's have a look. This might change the way a lot of people think about entrepreneurship. All right, so I'm keeping it simple, nothing extra. It's just a Google dictionary. Entrepreneur. Let's see, how does it sound? Entrepreneur. A person who sets up a business or businesses, taking on financial risks in the hope of profit. A promoter in the entertainment industry. What's the literal translation? Because it's French, right? Translation. English. Let's see. I'm gonna come out. Well, I'm not seeing what I want to see. But it's someone who starts their own business. So interesting. So I guess there are lots of people who are calling themselves entrepreneurs, and they haven't set up a business. And I think for a good amount of time, I was one of those people, or at least I was referred to as one of those people. There's a guy called Vusi Timbukweyu, and he talks about an entrepreneurship quadrant where you have an employee, you have an employee, a sole trader, you have a business owner, let's just Google it, because I'm just going to mess this up otherwise. That's if it's even online. Vusi. And then I'm going to get right into it. Entrepreneur quadrant. How do you spell quadrant? Quad. I hope I find an image. Oh, dear. If I don't find that image, I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. There's a video where he talks about it. Anyway. Had a productive... I'm just seeing these comments. Had a productive day. Now I'm enjoying some dessert and the good vibes. Good vibes always. That's all we do, is bring the vibes. That's all I got. Good looks and good vibes. So entrepreneurship. Right. Is entrepreneurship for everyone? Is entrepreneurship for you? Is entrepreneurship for everyone? That's a yes and a no question. The yes is it is for everyone because people benefit from entrepreneurship. Like if you are not that you being an entrepreneur, but if you work for someone who set it up or group of people would have been an entrepreneur. They would have been someone who set up a business and set it up with the aim of getting some profit and maybe passing it on to someone else to run or to manage, right? So yes, it is. And it's also a no. So not everyone should start a business. Not everyone should start a business. There's some people who are better at starting. I'm one of those people. There's some people who are better at finishing, continuing, growing. There's some people you can give them nothing and they'll turn it into something. They'll generate some income. There's some people you'll give them that same task and they won't be able to do it. But if you give it to them maybe a little bit later when there's like a few customers, they might be able to scale it. Everyone has their different strengths, weaknesses. I keep talking about that all the time. Some are good at growing, but they're not good at starting. Some are good at being part of a project. They can take the skills that they've learned at university through life, their own individual talent, and they can help a business to thrive. And the reality is we aren't all the same, and our desires and how our psyche is made up, it's all different, and we can all fit into a moving machine, which is a business. So for me, I think it's about recognizing your skills and placing them in the right place. And that's not just for entrepreneurship, that's in like every area of life, right? If you're a musician, and who gets all the glory in a band, like the singer, like the front man gets looked on, they're seen the most, right? But not everyone can be the front man, or the front woman. Not everyone can be that person. And maybe the favorite musician in the band might be a drummer or keyboardist or guitarist, but not everyone can do that. And sometimes I think in life we're fighting to try to be an entrepreneur when it simply isn't in our nature. But you can be entrepreneurial, and you might be that person that can buy a business or buy in multiple businesses and run them really, really well, which will in some sense make you an entrepreneur because you have multiple businesses, right? But it's like it's not I think there's a glorification of entrepreneurship, and we have a lot of people who go into entrepreneurship or into business wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to be like some of the heavyweights and some of the big business names that we've seen, when actually there's something else that we're supposed to do. Yeah, that's true. What's that quote? How does it go? If you try to judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, I don't know what's the end of that. If you try to judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, then that fish will have a low IQ or something. I don't know. I'm always messing up these things. But if you're a fish, be excellent at being a fish. Don't try to be a monkey that can climb a tree. And if you're a monkey that can climb trees and do clever stuff, don't try and be a fish. Continue being a monkey. Some people might not like being called a monkey or a fish. So like the reality is as well is that entrepreneurship can be really, really tough. And for some people, you might want to have something where you have a little bit more consistency. It might be a little bit more consistency in financial, in terms of the money, income, and it might be consistency in terms of your schedule, a routine. Whereas as an entrepreneur, there's ups and downs. Sometimes the bank account is fat, sometimes really, really thin. Sometimes the bank account is malnourished. Sometimes, like things are going well and sometimes things aren't going too well. And if you're one of those people that your tolerance for sort of self-imposed hardship isn't very high, then some aspect, maybe the beginning, the early stage of entrepreneurship might not be for you. And if you can tolerate that, then something like that might be for you, because you're taking a risk, isn't it? Yeah. And one thing I've found over the years is that the journey of entrepreneurship is mostly filled with personal development, getting to know yourself, trying to be better, trying to improve, which everyone should be doing, absolutely. But the number one question that we should ask ourselves when we are thinking of getting into entrepreneurship, starting a business, doing a side hustle, whatever it is, the question is, why do you want to start a business in the first place? And there are really two reasons why people start businesses. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Why do you want to start a business? Why do you want to do the things that you're doing? And it's not just about business, it's about life as well. You know, if you're going for a job, why do you want that? Why do you want to go into a certain career? Why do you want to go into a certain industry? What's the motivation behind it? And I think it's really important for us to be honest with ourselves and to say, I'm doing this because X, Y, Z. I'm doing it because it's expected of me. If that's why you're doing it, fair play. At least you know. And I think sometimes we kind of push the reasons, the real reasons why we're doing something to the back of our mind, then we get on with it. And then 10 years later, 5 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, it's kind of like, oh man, you know, I wish I didn't. I wish I just followed the path that I was on before. So I think it's really important to be honest and really important to ask the question, why? Why am I getting into this thing that I want to get into it? So there's 4 areas of entrepreneurship, right? There's the employee or the entrepreneur. That's the person who's working for someone else, the person who's working as part of an organization. There's the person who's building their career within that organization. There's an employee or entrepreneur. Then you have the sole traders, the solopreneurs, the side hustlers, the freelancers, the contractors, right? They're working for themselves. They don't really have a boss. You know, they're working with other people maybe, but they don't really have a boss. They don't have to clock in at a certain time all the time. And then you have the business owner. The business owner, someone who owns the business. They could be a partner, you know, they could be a group of people. You have this business owner, they own a business. There's a machine that's moving, a machine that's continuously operating with them and in many times without them. I think that's the ideal dream, to have something that can run without you as an entrepreneur so that you can go off and do something else, create something else. And then you have the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur starts multiple businesses. They have lots of ideas. They're always seeing a problem that needs to be solved. And they are a little bit uncontrollable. Often, they might give their business to someone else to run. And that can come in the form of selling it or appointing a CEO or managing director. So these 4 levels of entrepreneurship have, for someone to work within these levels, you have to understand what your talent is. You have to understand what you're good at. And of course, as always, I'm always talking about knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and understanding what that means for your life and how you're trying to move forward. So these 4 areas of entrepreneurship, it's good to identify where your strengths can be utilized the most within these 4 areas. Are you the person that's always finding a problem to solve? Are you that person who's solving lots of problems? Are you that person who likes to make sure that things are running properly? They are running efficiently. You can be the business owner, the mechanic. I met someone some time ago who had, I think I met him briefly, but he had like 4 or 5 McDonald's in Northwest and West London, doing really, really well. He bought his first one. I don't know where he got the money from, but he bought his first one. And then from there, he's like, let me get some more. So he got some more. Is he an entrepreneur? I think he's a smart man. He's bought a business that works. I don't know how some businesses keep operating. They must know something that I don't do, especially when they have lots of scandals and people talk about their food not being food and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, so these 4 areas, knowing where you are. But if you want to be a sole trader or a side hustler, like a side hustle, right? A side hustle, for a lot of people who are side hustlers, they're not business owners, but there are some people who are side hustlers who they've put together an operation systems that can run without them, and they've hired people and they still have their full-time job. Those people I respect 100%, because you're doing 2 jobs, maybe multiple jobs, right? I have a lot of respect for those people who can do that, who are able to almost like multitask, because that's brilliant. Because then that means that if you love your job and you enjoy what you're doing, and you find an opportunity that can bring and generate more income, that's phenomenal. So 2 reasons why people start a business. Can you believe that? There's only 2 reasons. How many reasons do you think there are? I think there's 2. How many reasons do you think there are? There are 2 reasons why people start businesses. I don't know if it's going to blow your mind or not. 2 reasons: freedom and money. So it could be freedom from the shackles of your bosses. It could be freedom to be able to do what you want when you want. It could be freedom of, it could be financial freedom, right? That's a type of freedom. But it could be freedom to do the things that you want, be around your family. Moms and dads might want to be around their family. They might want to travel, so they might start a business that will allow them to travel around the world or travel in different places. So it's really about freedom. And the second one is really about money. When it breaks down, for any other reason, all the reasons that people might have, it will break down to one of these 2 things: freedom or money. You want to make more money. There's a lack. There's not enough for what you want to do with your life. Maybe you want to buy something, and your current job you don't earn enough to be able to do that as fast as you might want to. So you might start a side hustle, you might start a business where you feel like the sky is the limit. So it's really just 2 reasons: freedom or money. Maybe both. So if you're thinking of starting a business, again, you want to identify why you want to start that business. Is it because you want to be free from something? Maybe you want to be free from a bad boss. Maybe they're getting on your nerves. Or maybe it's just that you need to earn some extra cash. Right, so I haven't done this for a while, but I'm going to start doing it again. It's going to be live. We run these sessions called How to Start a Business. And since December up until April, we did every Wednesday How to Start a Business. It was online. And we will talk to anyone who came to the webinar about 7 steps they can take to start a business. Just 7 steps. And we try to keep things simple, because entrepreneurship and business can be really, really complicated. There are lots of moving parts, but we talk about 7 steps. Maybe I'll talk about those another time. So if you're thinking of starting a business, do these things ASAP Rocky. If you've already started a business, still do these things. If you've already done these things, do them again. So glad I caught her live. Hey, sweetie. Who's that? Picture's a bit small. Good to have you. Good to have you on. I hope you're having a good evening, and I hope that you are doing really, really well. So there's just 3 things that I'm going to mention. Well, there might be a few things, but one is to do a SWOT analysis. I think I mentioned this last time, and I keep talking about it. It's really powerful. If you haven't done it, please do it. I beg thee. SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities and threats? Why is this important? This is very important if you're starting a business, simply because you will get to know yourself. You'll get to know yourself, and you'll get to know how you need to work and show up for others. There's this thing, this phrase going around, it's called like your zone of genius. Like, what are you exceptionally good at, right? That you can do with your eyes closed. You can hone in on that. But then also, it's good to recognize some of the stuff that you're not really good at, so that you can find someone else who can help you, to improve in that area. So do a SWOT analysis. And then you want to work out your expenses. You want to work out your survival budget. How much do you need to actually survive? How much do you need to spend on a monthly, weekly, daily, maybe yearly basis, right? Just so that when you start your business, you have an idea of what you need to do, what you need to plan. It's really, really important. Include stuff like savings and taxes and all that kind of stuff. You know what? If you would drop me a DM and I'll send you, actually, I think I put a link to my website. So if you want to talk about it, you can absolutely book in a session with me and I can give you a little template. So, and the third thing is knowing your purpose, the purpose of the business and the purpose as to why you actually want to start the business. You know, what are you and the business trying to achieve outside of making money and outside of having time freedom and money freedom? Those three things: SWOT analysis, expenses, and purpose. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I thought it would be good to share this actually because I've shared this with a few people and they've said that it's been quite life-changing, more than I imagined that it would have been, simply because some people haven't thought about what their strengths are, what they're good at and what they're not good at. And they haven't thought about some of the opportunities that are in front of them and what they can do with it. And they also haven't thought about what are some of the things that can threaten their success, or threaten their lives, or be a threat as they journey in entrepreneurship, whatever else they're kind of doing. So I thought that was really important. The tea is almost done. It's Wednesday night. Talking about my favorite topic. Is there anything that I would like to say about entrepreneurship? Is entrepreneurship overrated? Do you guys think entrepreneurship is overrated? Is it? Or is it underrated? Maybe. Well, folks, it's 9 o'clock. You can probably tell I'm a little bit tired, but I got a fresh haircut today. Pearls of Wisdom live stream to my eardrums. Love it. I had a haircut today and I'm feeling like a new man. It's been great to have you. It's a shorter session this evening, but whatever you decide to do with your life in the next 7 days before we meet again, make sure it's fantastic and it's enjoyable. And remember every single day to find 3 things that you're grateful for. Do that at the beginning and at the end of the day. Until next time, have a lovely week, a lovely 7 days, and I'll see you really soon. Some people I'm going to see sooner than others, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, have a lovely night. See you next time.